Good morning, everybody. Now, today's word is gigantic, and I'll be honest, this was a gigantic pain in the butt. I think this has been the hardest day for me, definitely up till now, and I don't know why. Well, no, I do know why. It was because I kept overthinking this word over and over again, and instead of just, spending 10 minutes thinking through the idea and then choosing what I wanted to do, I decided to start drawing 5 times, constantly sketching in pencil and then rubbing out and just going crazy at myself that I couldn't think of a good idea. And if I just waited, those 10 minutes and thought through it and then, actually waited to start, I think I would have just come to the idea that I ended up coming to a lot faster and with a lot less stress. My big problem with today's word was the fact that I couldn't stop thinking of giant rather than gigantic. I kept thinking, do a giant, do some form of giant, do a figure on a small landscape. But then every time I would try and sketch some of this idea, it would either feel like a rerun of something that I've done just in the last week, or I just wasn't happy with it. I didn't have the composition or the figure itself or the idea of that giant. I couldn't get to a clear idea that I wanted to do. The way I ended up getting there was just forcing myself to go put the kettle on and go and have a drink for a little bit and then think about what you're actually doing. Stop stressing yourself, stop worrying, because I think that it ends up becoming, when you're setting yourself a daily deadline like Inktober, that if they've gone well for a while and it's not feeling too stressful and it's not been too much to worry about, you're always going to end up with a morning all of it goes, oh my god, I can't get anything right. And it's nothing to panic about, because you'll get there in the end, so calm down. And I think that was kind of the feeling and thought I've had today, and I think I'm just gonna do this piece today, get this video uploaded and kind of have a break for the rest of today and stop panicking over finishing Inktober and just get back to enjoying it as a daily ritual of practicing pen work. So, moan over. In the drawing I ended up making, I kind of ditched the idea of a giant and instead focused just on that word gigantic and thought about, when you kind of get into your parents' clothes when you're a kid, when you'd wear clothes when you were 3 or 4 years old and you just drown in them and all the fabric would be everywhere and you'd be like, oh no. So I wanted to try and use the idea of a gigantic item, which in context isn't gigantic, but in the context I'm putting it in, it looks swampingly big. So I decided to draw a little girl who's wearing a giant jumper, and the jumper's kind of folding up and almost becoming a big whirlpool of clothing that she ends up being in. There was 2 main techniques I wanted to get done today. I wanted to try the brush pen, and I wanted to try and use a limited colour palette of warmer autumn tones. Though I think the piece of work is okay, it really highlighted to me the difficulty of the brush pen, and I noticed how much I kind of rest my hand as I'm drawing on the paper. I don't really have very light touch when I draw, which makes sense why I go through so many fine liners. I've obviously got a very heavy hand when I draw, which can have positives when you're trying to do something a bit more technical, because your line will always look consistent because you've applied a level pressure. But with the brush pen, it seems to be the true skill in it is being able to vary that pressure very well, and especially to do very good light pen work. And gosh, it was a constant reminder of how heavy-handed I was drawing this piece. But in a lot of ways that was a lot of fun to practice, and I really think that's where I'm going to carry on in some of the future pieces. So that's it for today. Sorry for the little moaning at the beginning. I think maybe everyone will have a day where they just think, oh Jesus, what am I going to do? Or they just keep going for ideas. And so here's to tomorrow. I hope everyone's done well today. Good luck. Bye.